Hey everybody, Preston here, also known as Godzilla Hawk, and we have Brandon, also known as Captain Asshole, also known as Mr. Retard.
Thank you!
And today, we're going to be... I don't know what you did there,
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't look at me. Don't laugh. Don't look at me. That's what you said!
He just got work today, so he's trying to be a good man.
I'm Kentucky Fried!
Was Mark Henry there?
No, he's banned from our restaurant. That mother ate everything. Everything. We were like, where'd the bones go? And that's where that commercial came from. God!
Okay. But no,
it's bad when their children take the bones and reconstruct it like it's some kind of dinosaur project. It's like, what the...
Anyways, so this is our first episode of Wrestler Talk. Now basically what this is we give you guys a bunch of wrestlers and you guys vote on what wrestler we want us to talk about. And a lot of you, it was just pretty much a landslide. Let's just put it this way, everybody just voted Chris Benoit. It was 10 votes for Chris Benoit, which is going to be very interesting to start off. Because even though I was not... even though I was never...
Sorry.
Even though I was never the biggest Chris Benoit fan, but he was a huge...
Breathe through your mouth, not through your nose. Yes, keep going.
Thank you. But even though I'm not the biggest Benoit fan, but he is. Now, Chris Benoit was one of his all-time favorite wrestlers. Now,
yes.
Before we get into actually talking about him, the positives and the negatives, I'm going to say this one last time. We are not going to talk about the murder-suicide thing. That's just what we're doing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about his in-ring performance, not outside of the ring. So, just a heads up.
I might make one or two comments. That's it. But
just a little heads up.
Appropriate comments.
Just a little heads up. So,
this is not based off how we feel about the incident, how he went out. This was nothing. It has nothing to do with that. So please, if that's what you're looking for, please just go to another site and watch something else. You'll be wasting your time.
This is more of us just talking about what were the positives and negatives about Benoit. Now, I'll go ahead and start off. Chris Benoit, people can argue. There's no question doubt he was probably one of the greatest technician wrestler of all time. He's the one that did the diving headbutts. He's the one that did the crossface, which is now used by sort of by Cena and now Daniel Bryan.
Cena does a crossface?
It's kind of similar to a crossface, like the STF.
No,
it's kind of like a crossface.
God, I hate that. That is.
I know.
No, it doesn't even look like the crossface. I think the only one using anything remotely too close to the crossface in the WWE at this point is, of course, Triple H, who's actually doing the crossface, and the label lock from Daniel Bryan, which is an inverted crossface. A label lock is almost the exact same thing, with a slight inversion because you use your leg, and that can pull your arm out of the socket a little bit easier if you don't do it right. And that's why it's a little more technical with his wrestling, which makes him very impressive. But we're not here to talk about him, we're here to talk about Benoit, and I don't appreciate the things that they've done to his career. And then other wrestlers are going to use his techniques.
Yeah. Well, we'll get more into that a little bit, but we're going to start because he originally started in WCW. That's where...
I have not seen any of his WCW performances, so I don't have an opinion on that. Well, but everybody's got to get it started somewhere. Yeah. And WCW, even though it went out with a bang. No matter how you look at it, it came. Yeah. I did see the end of it. It went out with a big bang, and we will not forget it ever.
Well, I never really watched WCW. Actually, I might have when I was a real little kid back in the day, but I don't really remember. But all I remember was let's go back. Talking about WCW for a second, you had guys that were like Chris Jericho started in there. You have
check it out. I'm a midget. Look at the screen. I'm a midget. I'm a little midget. Hi, Preston.
Anyways, so we have Chris Jericho, A. Guerrero, Booker T, and of course Benoit was one of them. Benoit, people liked his style because it wasn't just the fact that he was just that underdog. It wasn't the fact that he had good ring gear or good music. It was the fact that not only was he a great technician wrestler, he was a good brawler. He was aggressive. That's why they call him the Crippler. They call him the Crippler. Because he would cripple people.
Or the actual expression they called toothless aggression.
Exactly.
He was very, very, very just on the spot. He's what brought other people like, I hate to mention it because you hate him, and so does everybody else, Batista, when he first came in, his aggression was similar. So was Sheamus's aggression when he first came in. Their aggressions were almost identical to what Benoit brought to the table, just a lot more steroid look to him. That's the only difference. And honestly, yeah, he brought it. He was original. He was where it started. This is one of the wrestlers that didn't get to make it to the end, who had the ability to be in the Hall of Fame, who should be in the Hall of Fame.
But
because of how great a wrestler he was. And it's not acknowledged for that. I don't understand that one at all.
Well, we'll get into that one a little bit, but
I don't want to wait.
But we'll get there as soon as possible. Just here we go. So, Chris Benoit.
I can't hold him. Asshole wants to talk.
Anyways, Chris Benoit, let's take a look. He's been a multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. He's been a tag team champion with guys like Edge, and countless others. I can't really.
I think wasn't he tag team partners with Kane at one point?
No, I don't believe so. He was never tag team partners with Kane. I know X-Pac and Daniel Bryan.
It was one of those ones where they mixed up the tag teams. I remember they're having that tag team roulette, and then people just got randomly placed together for the tag team.
If that's true, guys, comment down below. Otherwise, I have no idea.
I think I remember that.
I remember though he was, like I said, Intercontinental Champion. He was a good Intercontinental Champion, tag team champion, well known. Oh yeah, that's right. He was also tag team champions with Kurt Angle. I'll talk about this because
wasn't he also the cruiserweight champion for when he first came in? He got.
I don't remember.
I think
he might. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, I remember him with Kurt Angle, and I want to mention this because it was funny. Because this kind of reminded me of the Kane and Daniel Bryan. How it was two guys that worked so well together, but they could not stand each other, and they had comedic, stuff in the back. Like you had them like give each other hugs and all this stuff, but that they were a great team too. And they actually had a great feud, and we actually saw one of their matches on, Straw Hat at the Royal Rumble before the WWE Championship, I believe. They had a great wrestling match and everything, so that was really well done. Like I said, he was also United States champion at one point, where then he lost it to Orlando Jordan and I believe to MVP later that year, back in 2007. But then he also won the Royal Rumble 2004 by eliminating the Big Show. And then finally, probably his greatest accomplishment, and I don't give two fucks what anybody says.
Easy there, Seabiscuit.
No, I'm being serious here. WrestleMania 20, one of the saddest moments in history was when Benoit won the World Championship, and then you see Eddie Guerrero come out with his WWE Championship, and they hug. They're both crying. You see Benoit with his family out there. There's confetti going everywhere. That was one of the saddest but happiest moments ever. Seeing two best friends that have come from WCW and they're in the ring holding world championships. But it's also sad because they both passed away so soon as well.
Yeah.
I
gotta say that is one of the most upsetting things that I have to say about it, because when this happened, when he did that, he was #1 contender for the ECW championship. I know that for sure. He was actually coming on to a title shot, a rematch for. No, that's right. He won #1 contendership, and he didn't make it to it
because of what happened. But
which is something I don't understand. But at the same time, it's not something we need to understand.
I kind of understand why, but at the same time, it's like he's
a great wrestler.
Well, let's just put in this terms because remember Mitch, we know him. He's actually friends with Benoit's real life son, David Benoit, who is actually trained to be a wrestler as well.
Which gives me hope, because if he's anything like
he kind of even looks like his dad in a way.
It's not about looks. If his technique in the ring is anything like Chris Benoit, then I am thrilled. I would love to see him in the WWE. I'd love to see him in I'd love to see him in WWE. That's where he will belong. Because honestly, he'd be a second generation Benoit, and that's what I'd love to see.
But that's the only question I have is if Benoit succeeds as being a professional wrestler and made it to WWE, would they change his name? Would they kick him out? Like, what would they do? That's my only concern because of the whole Benoit scenario and the fact they're trying to erase Benoit like they're doing with Punk right now.
We got to look at the obvious things. One of the things that I was really shocked about was when they did check out Benoit's head scans, he had massive contusions all over his brain from doing these flying headbutts. And if the WWE were serious about doing something right by Benoit, they would outlaw flying headbutts. It's a technical move, I know, but it causes way too much brain damage, way too much damage to the head, and it's way too risky to be using techniques like that. Headbutts are already bad enough as is, because you never know what's going to happen. But a flying headbutt, it can mean a big difference in someone's life.
I have to mention,
but instead they ban them. I don't understand.
No, they don't ban headbutts. I mean, remember,
they don't ban headbutts. They ban any information on Benoit. I don't understand that.
Well,
Benoit is part of the WWE history, no matter how you look at it.
And even his son, even someone even asked, like, during an interview on YouTube, when Mitch talked about, he said, he actually asked his son this, do you think your dad deserves to be a Hall of Fame? He said, yes, I know what he did, but he should be remembered for what he did in the ring. So I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He worked his ass off for this company, and now he's just shoveling all because of something that we don't even know if it's 100% true.
I got a question. The WWE kicked Jeff Hardy out of it, right, for doing coke.
Well, they've done it a few times. Even
what was his drug? Was it coke?
I think it was cocaine or marijuana. So I don't know.
It can't be marijuana. They want to kick him out from marijuana. It's not that severe. Whatever drug he was doing, I'm not going to point fingers like that. They kicked him out for it. If Jeff Hardy survives to be like 80 years old, I'm saying if. The fucker's crazy, he does backflips, he lands on his head way too fucking much. If he survives to be 60, 70, 80, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Because you got to understand, Jeff Hardy took it to the extreme for all of the high flyers. There has not been anybody who's done anything that Jeff Hardy's done since Jeff Hardy. We have not seen wrestlers climb the scaffolding or climb the giant hooks hanging from the ceiling,
like Titantron and stuff like that.
Yeah, and jump off like whee! This can't hurt me. I mean, I understand he's probably high as a kite when he did it and couldn't feel much, but let me tell you something. He felt it when he landed, and he felt it for a few days after. He probably still feels it to this day. And granted, he might be working for another company, and
that's a different gimmick?
Yeah, he might not. He was also Jeff Hardy still.
He's just an alter ego Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy never went by another name. He never did. Jeff Hardy's always been Jeff Hardy. The only thing that didn't follow him to TNA was the Hardy Boys. And then Matt came back and then it was mentioned, and that was bad. But Jeff Hardy has held the WWE Championship. And
two-time World Heavyweight Champion.
He has done things that has changed grounds for the WWE. He too should be in the. He too, no matter what reason
he's going to be in the Hall of Fame by far.
Yeah, but for whatever reason is that you kick him out now or you don't approve of. They did things in the ring that changed the landscape and should be recognized. And Benoit's top of the list.
Yeah.
Benoit's the top of the list because he started everything. Aggression Era was great, but he took it to a different level because he had honor, he had respect, and he had talent. He had submission. There's something we weren't seeing in our bigger wrestlers. We always saw big hits, clobbering, and brawling. We didn't see technical wrestling.
A whole lot anyway.
Yeah,
all the great technical wrestlers.
We saw big impact when they hit each other with a chair or when they hit their finisher. We didn't see stuff that was like mat wrestling. We didn't see 3 people doing 3+ German suplex. My personal favorite was in his match for the world title, his first world title. How many times he held it for 10 German suplex on Triple H? It was 10.
I don't know. I think it was 3. That's one of his signatures is the triple suplex.
There was one that he did for 10 times, and I was like, dude, you're gonna kill him.
I don't remember that, but if you guys remember, comment down below. But we'll go ahead and continue. But like I said, I'll always remember this moment too. Speaking of the headbutt, is WrestleMania 21, where it was the first ever Money Bank ladder match. Benoit was in it. You had him climb up the tallest ladder possible. Kane's on there, and he jumps down, bam, you can see head first onto the chest, and you see his head split open. He's like, ah! And then his arms like dislocate at the end, and he's still like trying to climb the ladder. But of course, Edge ended up winning, which we're both Edge heads. We're fans of
Honestly,
Edge, but Chris Benoit earns my respect as one of the toughest mofos
I'm sorry,
on the planet.
I was not an Edge head until Edge started becoming more of a in-your-face type of person versus a it's all about me type person. His character switched to that, and it was okay. Back then, no, Edge, I didn't care about him. I was upset that Benoit did not get that Money in the Bank. It was not right.
Yeah.
He sacrifices so much more. He sacrificed so much more in his matches, and this is what he gets for it? I mean, seriously?
He's...
Do you know how many people have been waiting to see his matches uncensored just to see him again? Do you know how many hits you probably get online just for matches for him? That's not... They look at this thing like, oh, it's a match for him and the guy he's facing. No. There's not a single match with Benoit that's ever requested for the other guy. It's always for Benoit. That's the way it's always been. He was just that much of an impact on the wrestling society, and the fact that he's not being acknowledged for that is not okay.
This like I mentioned this before. Even though I don't own the DVD, I watched the online. It was in the Money in the Bank anthology, and of course they include every single Money in the Bank all the way through I think 2012, I believe, or 2013. Yeah, actually all the way to 2013. So pretty much has all the Money in the Banks, even the first one. The thing that pisses me off is, like Christian music comes out. You see Edge's entrance, Shelton Benjamin, Kane. You only see 5, and there were 6 because Benoit was in it.
Censored.
And every time
Censored. That's what I'm talking about.
And even though Benoit was in it, you can actually see sometimes where you see Benoit in his red tights and everything, but they always do like based from the back or far away angles, so you can't
or it looks
see
a little blurry because they ended up cutting part of the actual frame out and expanding it, which it just
It didn't blur him, but they just like
no. They cut part of the screen off the picture, and they took what was left and they stretched it out, and it looked like the wrestlers were kind of a little out of focus, and I was like, what the heck? What the heck?
Well, it didn't make any sense because
it wasn't 5 guys; it was 6. Not all right.
Well,
if you can't show if you can't show the wrestler, you cannot show the match. That's simple. That's the way it should be.
Well, that my biggest criteria was like, why? What was the point of freaking having a Money in the Bank anthology if you won't even include all the wrestlers in the very first Money in the Bank? And one of the wrestlers started with one of the greatest spots in that match was the freaking headbutt off the ladder.
I would have come back and got my money. I would have come back to the store and got my money back immediately. The second I saw that, I just like, I want my money back for this.
And what also confuses me is, even though I haven't seen it yet, but there was also Elimination Chamber DVD, and Benoit was in one of the Chamber matches. I believe it was in 2005, New Year's Revolution, where it was basically kind of like the breakup of Evolution, where it was Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton, Benoit, a newcomer Edge, and Jericho. That begs the question, like, if they show that match, are they going to show no Benoit? Because remember, Benoit and freaking Chris Jericho started that match. So how would that work? That's why I'm concerned about it, because there's so many. Even the new Shawn Michaels DVD,
I could see it showing up like when the first guy entered, when the third guy entered in the match. It'd probably take from there because I believe at that point Benoit was outside the ring and laying down on the steel, where it was a Hell in a Cell match, or was it a
Elimination Chamber
match? Remember, he was out.
No, they were both inside the ring.
I think what it'll do is cut straight to that portion.
Well, like I said, I don't remember. But another thing that really pissed me off, bless you, when they came out the new Shawn Michaels DVD with all of his WrestleMania matches. Remember, Benoit was in one of them, and they say all 7. I believe it was like all 17 WrestleMania matches. But that begs the question. Are they going to have one of the greatest WrestleMania matches, not just in Triple H's life, not in just Shawn Michaels' career, but in Benoit's, which was the triple threat match for the World Championship? Now you're telling me, I swear to fucking Christ, if I see that match and it's either not there or Benoit's not in the picture, because that made Benoit's career when he won the World Championship, people are going to flip out. Because when they see Shawn Michaels, they expect, yes, Shawn Michaels, I can't wait to see the Shawn Michaels and Jericho match. I can't wait to see the triple threat match. But then, oh wait, where's the triple threat match? Where's the best match besides Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Jericho. Where's the other great match, considered to be the greatest triple threat match of all time at Mania? Where's that at? And it's not going to be there because, of course, Benoit won the match and he was in that. That really frustrates me with the company. It's the same thing with Punk. Ever since Punk left the company, he's been taken out of posters. They don't mention him anymore. And it really pisses me off because all Punk did was he had a set of balls and said this company is fucking retarded and how they're using their talent. And that's why he left in the first place. He was sick of it. And
they thought he was going to come back. But we're getting off.
Yeah, we're getting a little off track. But like I said, I would say the only negative part about
let's do this instead. What was your most memorable part of his career? What do you remember the most about Benoit? The very most. The first thing that comes to mind when you think of Benoit was
Benoit and winning the world championship holding his championship with Eddie Guerrero in the ring cafe. That's the one thing that comes to mind because that will sink into your mind as the greatest and one of the saddest moments in history. Two of the greatest underdog wrestlers that worked their asses off and they finally become world champions and they're best friends. And it was just sad. The fact that they're both gone now.
That's actually my second fondest memory of Benoit. My first one was actually when he got the world's fastest submission victory.
I think it was against Orlando Jordan too. I remember that. I remember.
He charged him straight crippler crossface, tapped out.
I remember that. They were Mitch even talking about that. I think there was like they had Benoit.
It's like 6 seconds, right? 6 seconds.
I think I remember that. I remember it's like Mitch said something about like a little feud, like Benoit was all jokes, and Orlando Jordan's like, I want to face you in a match. Like, okay. And then Orlando tapped out. I think either he retained the championship or he won the championship. No, I think he won the championship back.
No, he retained it.
I thought he regained it.
No, he kept challenging him.
Yeah, that was back in 2007. Yeah. I remember that part too.
That was a small one for him, but that was one of the most impressive things about him was just his ability, his speed. And it wasn't just... It's not one thing about him that's memorable. It's all that he did.
Like the ladder.
He never changed... His character and what he did never changed in the WWE. Never, not once. He was always Benoit. And the day he made an impact by bringing the crossface to the table against some big character that they were
like a king
that they were blowing up at the time, they were like, "This guy's the greatest guy in the world. Nobody will beat him. Look how big he is. Look at the muscles." And Benoit wasn't even. He looked like a regular guy. He looks like a guy you'd find on the fisherman docks. He's that type of guy, and he freaking completely just in the whole match. He dominated him a little bit, but every time he had to get back up because he wasn't keeping Benoit down, and he was getting surprised. And then the crossface came in, and it was just like, no way, and boom!
It was smooth.
That first victory, it was just out of nowhere, and it was like, wow! And that's where it started, and
ever since then, he was built up to this like underdog.
He kept going up and going up and going up, and he's never changed his persona because he was, in my opinion, he was more close. He was closer to being the people's champion than The Rock ever was. He was just that memorable, and he was someone you could relate to.
Yeah,
and The Rock.
But like what really kind of concerns me is about a lot of wrestlers when they say, who do you idolize? They don't idolize guys like The Rock a whole lot, but they idolize guys like Shawn Michaels or more importantly Benoit, like Daniel Bryan. You can totally tell he based his moveset off Chris Benoit. CM Punk, he became a technician wrestler, and he even said one of his biggest dreams was to face Benoit in a match. And I think that match would have been excellent, but because of the whole passing thing, Punk couldn't have that match, and it was really sad.
It's the same thing for the Sting Undertaker match. It's just the same thing we're looking at, and it's something that we would all love to.
Or
have
even
seen.
Daniel Bryan versus Benoit would have been amazing.
But it's something that we all wanted to see that we will never get to, and as part of the WWE universe, no matter how small of a part I am, I personally think that all the things that he's done, he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame and possibly even an apology given publicly on the stage to his son for how long it took them to do it. Because I'm talking, he had so much impact on today's wrestlers that you can't teach that to them. They have to see it happen for themselves. And I have not seen that in any, and I mean any, not even in Daniel Bryan, any wrestlers since Benoit. Benoit's the only one like him. And yes, we miss him terribly. We all do, and we would love to see his son pick up
shine.
We'd like to see him pick up where he left off.
Pick up the ball. Go with it.
Pick up the family crest and, step in the ring and do your best and do what he did. But we also expect him to do his own part and be who he's going to be. He's going to be a second generational Benoit. No matter how you look at it, he's going to be a second generation Benoit, which is one of the most exciting things that we as the WWE Universe have to look forward to. And what's even better is the fact that he's not getting into wrestling just because of his father. He has the same passion. He wants to be in wrestling. And it's going to be that's going to drive him. And that's what I look forward to seeing, how he develops, because I'd like to see him holding that World Heavyweight title one day.
Yeah. But
it's not about being the big guy. It's about being the best that you can,
and that's what CM Punk and guys like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have mentioned. It's like the WWE's mindset is like if you're big, you have muscles, you're a world champion. If you're a guy like a Punk or a Bryan or Ed Guerrero, you're not going to make it far. But Bryan and Punk are guys, even Ed Guerrero are guys that prove that you don't need to be big. You don't need to be on steroids to be the best. You just need to be the best performer. You need to sell.
Look at Angle. Angle's the same exact way. Angle's on the level of greatness as Benoit because of what he's done, what he can do.
Exactly. I mean, they were even good friends too.
And I know he's in TNA right now, and I know he's going to be in the TNA. Their inductee to their Hall of Fame.
He's already in it, and I even heard rumors that Kurt Angle might be returning to WWE in October.
The real question is, why hasn't he? Once he retires, will the WWE also induct him?
No, they will. They will.
He too had a great impact, and I know he's not done anything wrong in his past, as far as I know. Anything that's had impact on his career or otherwise. But getting off the subject, we talk about this a lot, and
well, especially because
I know that the WWE has to consider everything one step at a time, and it takes time for them to do stuff. However, this is something that the WWE Universe as a whole, there isn't some of them that are saying, no, what he did was wrong. They're saying that, yes, what he did was wrong, but he still had the biggest impact on their children's lives, on their lives, for some of us who are about my age. And he's not going to be remembered. He's going to be censored. He's going to be taken out like he never was. That ain't right.
Yeah.
I don't care that WWE is now a PG show. I don't care. But when you disrespect someone who did as much as he did, that's
and word to that.
And if he doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, I'm gonna say in the next, I'm gonna give him time, a little more time. I'll say the next 3 to 5 years. If he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, I don't know. I think I'll be done with the WWE myself, because at that point, it's gone beyond disrespect to straight up arrogance, and that's not acceptable. And this guy built part of the WWE, not all of it, not half it, not even a tenth of it, but he built the structure that a lot of the current WWE superstars are standing on right now. And without him, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be where they're at. Most of the WWE wouldn't be at the point where it's at now. In fact, the Attitude Era probably would have continued without him and never ended, because we were basically not going anywhere with it. It was just guys beating each other until they were bloody. And we're not a savage race. We don't watch gladiators kill each other. We like to see technicians. We like to see people who can do things with precision and capability.
They want to see wrestling. They don't want to see stupid like Santino gimmicks or dances. They want to see like hardcore wrestling or like technician wrestling. They want to see the Punks. They want to see the Bryans, the Cesaros, guys like that.
But when you refer to people like that, you know that when people say something like that, what they're really saying is, we want to see Benoit. We want to see him back. We miss him terribly, and we would love to see the WWE do something to honor him. At least something. And the best thing they could ever do is to put him in the Hall of Fame. That's the best thing they could ever do. Stop censoring him and put him in the Hall of Fame and put him out there again. Because, you know, that's what we're wanting. We're not the only ones asking for it. The entire WWE universe
Guys,
is begging for this thing.
even his son, David Benoit,
And
even agrees with us.
honestly, I would love to see. The reason why I said 3 to 5 years is because in 3 to 5 years, I can see Benoit's son, David.
Benoit.
I know David coming into the WWE, making his first debut. And the only thing that could be better than, you know, him making his debut is literally making his debut the day after his father is inducted into the Hall of Fame. It would be
So
the
basically,
most,
he made his in-ring debut at WrestleMania.
yes. No.
No, Hall of Fame is usually the day before WrestleMania. Yeah.
Okay, we'll say 2 days after. We'll say Monday Night Raw, just for shits and giggles, because I know how big WrestleMania is, but I also know that they're running out of ideas for it. You can tell from the last one, but
Which is not saying that
it
WrestleMania 3
would
wasn't
be
terrible.
really great. And I mean, it would be remembered, and half the W universe who holds this against them would be willing to forgive the WWE for it at that point. But until then, the ire is still there. They're not going to do it, and it's disrespectful to what he did accomplish in the ring.
Yeah, but like that's our goal. That's pretty much everything. Like I said, Brandon's a huge Benoit fan. Even though I was not the biggest Benoit fan, I still respect all wrestlers. Whether I love them or I hate them, I respect everybody because they're still human beings. They don't deserve death. They don't deserve like death threats. I may not like them. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, even though I've mentioned this so many times, I'm not a fan of John Cena. But that does not mean I wish he was dead. I respect him because he gives it everything he's got. He doesn't quit. He's always kind to children. He does the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Same thing with like Batista, Randy Orton, guys like that. They still care about everyone else. And
Did you really say Batista in that one?
no.
That
That was kind of a bad example. But you know what I mean.
He's just going down a list of wrestlers he don't like.
Well, exactly. I'm trying to prove a point that I don't wish other wrestlers death.
Yes, we don't wish death on anybody. We don't wish.
Robinson.
We don't wish harm on them. We do miss Benoit terribly, and what he did in the ring is one of the greatest aspects that we've ever seen on TV or anywhere else, and we'd like to see appreciation for him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody else should do the same thing that we're doing. This is just something that we can do to vocalize our opinions on this, so that we don't go around and do something stupid, which is inevitable anyways. But getting off the point. This is Captain Asshole trying to put out a point, plain and insightfully, that no matter how big of an asshole I am, Benoit was a great technical wrestler.
And one of his favorites.
And if he can't be recognized, then the WWE, plain and simply, does not deserve the right to have a Hall of Fame to begin with. I appreciate everything everyone else did, but Benoit cannot be appreciated, cannot be indicted into the Hall of Fame, then it is pointless to have, plain and simply. Preston?
Yeah.
You got anything to say on that one?
Well, like, even though I can't go a little off topic, like this kind of reminds me of the Owen Hart scenario. Like he's not even in the Hall of Fame, all because of his stupid wife won't let them, have his name in the Hall of Fame. It's like WWE didn't do anything wrong. It was complete accident. He wanted to do a zip line, wanted to feign snap, he fell down. It wasn't WWE's fault. It was just an accident, and all because of his stupid bitch wife. They won't allow him.
No. We're not going to place blame today. Blame is not. She feels that the WWE is responsible because they supplied the harness, they supplied the zip line, they had the guys go over the safety procedures, and they still couldn't manage to pull it off a simple technique like that. Well, you got Jeff Hardy jumping off of freaking three stories in the sky through a table, and he's walking away without any problems. That's what she's upset about, and so she won't let them do it because she thinks it's just it's them making money off him again, and that's why she doesn't do it. Benoit's a different matter. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And for that, we have to say one thing. Benoit needs to be in the Hall of Fame. He would make the Hall of Fame worthwhile. Aside from, of course, Stone Cold being in it because, he did the exact same thing for the WWE as Benoit did. We're talking about someone who's no longer around, and we need to do something for him.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then you guys aren't worth even having a Benoit in your company. Plain and simply. If you're not going to have, if that's the way you want to go, that's fine. I will go and watch something else.
There's other shows we can watch.
Plenty of things to do other than watch something that's just another gimmick at that point.
Yeah.
So this is Captain Asshole. I've had enough talking about it before I get any more emotional and start punching Preston in the face because he's the only person near enough to me to swing at.
I'm going to go ahead and just talk. Before we continue the next thing very quickly, I just want to say one last time. Even though I'm not a Benoit fan, I respect him, and I really do think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. That's just my personal opinion, and it's just fact that he does deserve it. He's one of the toughest SOBs I've ever seen in my entire life. After all the injuries and stuff, he kind of reminds. He's in the He's kind of like in a
league of his own.
Exactly. He kind of reminds me of I could say he's like in the leagues of guys like, some of these might be a little bit overrated, but guys like Terry Funk, Sabu, Mick Foley, guys like that take risks and they just continue and they just continue and continue. No matter how hurt they are, they continue to do what they love and they make the fans happy. But that's pretty much it for me. But anyway, so that's pretty much our little talk. Comment down below. Tell us what did you think about Benoit. But now what we're going to do is, instead of just giving you guys a bunch of just random stars that we can think of top of our head, we're each going to pick 2 picks so you guys can vote down below. And then the very last one, which is the 5th, we'll do rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, forget to do the last one. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll go first. And by the way, if we pick Benoit, we take him out.
So here's my question before we do that. Are these all WWE superstars only?
WWE or TNA. Any wrestler.
As long as it's WWE and TNA only. Because right now those are the only ones that are actually on TV.
Well, maybe Mitch Lightning a little bit.
I guess I'd be okay with Mitch Lightning because he's become very impressive.
He's impressive. He's actually, I think, before we continue, Mitch actually met Colt Cabana and Jake the Snake Roberts.
I saw that. He sent me a few of his pictures. Congratulations, Mitch.
Yeah.
He was able to meet Benoit's son, right?
They were actually friends in reality.
Good.
They're friends on Skype and everything. They talk to each other.
Mitch, if you're watching this, do me a favor. Tell Benoit that I hope that I can see him one day on TV. I'd love to see him perform. TV or not, I'd just love to see him perform.
You can even talk to him. Maybe if we can get a point, we can even talk to him.
Yeah, but I'm a fat asshole who doesn't do anything with his life, so it probably won't happen on my life.
Well, like I said, if you get him over, he calls us on Skype, we can always just talk to him and do like a 4-way talk or something. But anyways, let's go ahead and pick the first star.
Reaching deep. You realize it looks like you're touching your cock, right?
Right here.
You're all penis.
Here we go.
First name.
There we go. We got Sheamus for one of the picks.
Oh, we're going to be talking about Sheamus.
So it depends who else we get. So Sheamus, so far, looks like the winner.
Okay, got one.
And who would you get?
Fuck.
Who would you get?
El Torito. Somehow I think El Torito will be the winner on that one.
Well, at least it's something different.
Only because people are kind of getting tired of Sheamus, but I'm not. I love Sheamus. I think Sheamus is one of the most impactful wrestlers in the
His gimmick just sucks.
No, not really. I think that he could be better if they made him a little more aggressive, honestly.
Here we go. Third pick. Bully Ray. There we go.
Uh-oh.
Now that's someone I can deal with.
Come on. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy slash
Matt Hardy.
Jeff Hardy slash
Matt Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's in here, right?
Yeah.
Is Willow in here too?
I believe so.
Okay, so
either
way, if we get Jeff Hardy or Willow, same guy, we can do both of them for him. And we end up with Hornswoggle. I got the 2 midgets in a row. How the hell does that work? Can we just do the 2 midgets and consider it one guy?
Okay, how about this? We won't do Hornswoggle because that's a little. We'll let you pick again.
Yeah, because that's like
just put it back.
That's like picking a member of 3MB. It's pointless. Nobody has an opinion
We're
on
not
it.
gonna. It's not we don't hate Hornswoggle. We just don't feel like that is a contender. We want to make it a little bit more.
Yeah, El Torito's got a bit. Well, let's do it this way: Hornswoggle and El Torito will be a combined pick. How's that one? Because their little rivalry is kind of cool, and we'd love to talk about.
How about we? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do El Torito and Hornswoggle as one pick.
We'll do that as a pair as a one pick. Okay, so this can be my. Oh, dude, seriously, an announcer, Jim Ross.
Take him out. No, you could do a wrestler. Put him back, or it has to be a wrestler. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Remember, this is our draft thing.
I want to slap you. Watch now. Watch. I'm gonna get what's her name? I'm gonna get freaking
Lillian Garcia.
No, I'm gonna get what's her name? Triple H's wife. But I don't.
Stephanie. She's not in there.
Orlando Jordan.
Okay. Wow, we actually just talked about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the big ones that I would like to talk about is Maven. But he's probably not in there because
okay, so here we go. So we have Hornswoggle Torito as one, Orlando Jordan, Sheamus, and Bully Ray. So now we have to do rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, that's one for you?
1, 2, 3.
Now you get to pick. Make it count.
Here comes another midget.
No, take your time.
Oh, wait, I already got both of them.
Take your time. Take
Come
your time.
on, John Cena. Come on, John Cena. Actually, I personally would love any member of the Shield. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it. Any member of the Shield would be nice. Because then we can talk about all three of them really great. Okay, so
no, just one of them.
I got one.
Here we go. Who is it? Who is it?
Batista.
Fuck.
Wow.
He's not lying, guys. It's Batista.
So, if you really want to tick him off, and I know how much fun that is, vote Batista. If you really want to talk about entertaining, I would vote for, of course, Hornswoggle and El Torito. That has been very interesting. A lot of impact on that match that they had. The matches they've had. A lot of people digging it. A lot of people liking the midgets again. I'm sorry.
Dwarfs.
I'm not going to call them dwarfs. They're not walking around with axes. Little people. How's that one? I'm going to call you guys
leprechauns.
They're going to walk up and just headbutt you in the nuts. You know that?
But
you know, walking, boom, the little people of the WWE are
non-tall people.
The little people of the WWE are making a big impact again. I remember back when the Bushwhackers had their little people too. Those guys are awesome. They'd bite people on the asses. It was funny as shit. And it was like, yeah, I remember that back when I was like 5 or 6 watching that. Back when we had to hold the antenna to get the picture in.
So
Channel 2. It's not coming in. You start hitting the TV and
so here we go.
The little guy bit the big guy in the butt. Who else did we get? Orlando Jordan. I don't really remember Orlando Jordan too much. I remember a little bit about him.
Yeah, me too.
He's not really one of those guys that are too
well, we're not going to talk about... We're going to save it. So, who
was the other one?
So, here we go. So for the first... So, Hornswoggle, El Torito. That means we'll talk about both of them in one video. Orlando Jordan is another pick. We have Sheamus, Bully Ray, and Batista. So... choose wisely. I'll give you guys about a month to decide, and then we'll do this again, and we'll talk about that wrestler you guys choose.
Also, keep in mind that if you choose Batista, not only will it tick him off, but we will have nothing but negative things to say about him, only because of the way he went out, and of course, my personal favorite, the fact that he changed nothing, and his Batista bomb is retarded now. And do you happen to notice how horrible he pulls that off now? Now, when he hits the Batista bomb, he wants to roll backwards like he's some kind of freaking ninja.
He does that all the time.
He never did that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. No. He never did that. Where he was more focused on the back roll.
We're ending this video right now.